So in my last video, I said Hollywood was dead and movies as we know them are over. Maybe that was a little hyperbolic, but I'm still going to stand behind it. However, I think that the Snyder Cut may be the key to keeping it on life support a little longer. So, like I said in my last video, I made a very bold statement, and I spent over 20 minutes backing it up. The response from people was a little bit Luke Skywalker.
It's not true. That's impossible.
What do they say? The stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. Well, Mark Hamill gave us two of those emotions for the price of one. Good job, Mark. Anyway, I fully expect people to not accept what I have to say, and that's fine. I'm not saying this to be gleeful. I'm not one of those people like, I hate Hollywood and I want to see it burn. No, there's too many people tearing stuff down at the moment. You don't tear stuff down. You build stuff up, and if it's valid, if it's worthy, if it has value, it will grow, and the things around it that don't will diminish. That's actually how it works. Right now, I see video on demand growing exponentially, and Hollywood is diminishing. They were already diminishing before the COVID, and box office was down. Movies had bloated budgets, and this pandemic came along and kind of finished the job. They are not, believe me, the people in Hollywood are going to continue to produce content. We talked about content last time. We're going to talk about that a little bit more today. But they're also realizing that they don't have the money they once did to produce that content, and they're competing with a lot more. That's irreversible. That's where Hollywood has lost its major superpower.
What are your superpowers again? I'm rich.
So, what is the power that they still have and can use? Well, not so long ago, it was announced that the campaign of the Release the Snyder Cut, it actually worked. It bore fruit. There is going to be a Snyder Cut, which is essentially a director's cut, and we've gotten director's cuts before. I'm a big fan of the Aliens franchise. You got the director's cut of Alien and the director's cut of Aliens, the assembly cut of Alien 3, and whatever the hell Alien Resurrection was. The thing is that the Snyder Cut signifies something that Hollywood people working in Hollywood, they can use if they are willing to learn the lesson from it, and that is listen to the fans. Last time, again, in my video, I talked about fan engagement and fulfillment. And that's what the Snyder Cut represents for Hollywood. Now, I talked about it in terms of like crowdfunding, Kickstarter, using that to fulfill fan expectation. But what Hollywood has done is they've finally kind of taken a route around the traditional media that they've listened to for so long, and directly engaged the fans and found out, hey, they have money they want to give us for something, and we don't have to pay to produce a whole new movie. We just have to kind of revamp this movie we had already. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that, by the way. It's recently been announced that the movie Event Horizon, I guess they're finding new footage that they thought was lost forever, and it's always kind of been lamented by the fans that they didn't get the cut that, was it Paul W.S. Anderson, I think is the director, originally intended. He had to kind of like PG-13 it down when he had a hard R movie before. So I hope they get that cut as well, and I think that that's going to be profitable for them. So exactly what is going on here? Well, I'm going to reference another YouTube video, and I'll link it in the description below, to a channel called Comics Matter with your boy Zack. Now, your boy Zack is a comic book reviewer, but he analyzed the Snyder Cut, and I believe he also referenced Clownfish TV. I never saw that video. But he explained a little bit about what's going on here. He used to be an IT person And he referenced what's called a man-in-the-middle attack or hack. It's a cyber term where essentially you are thinking that you are communicating, or your system is communicating with another system or another person, but there's a man in the middle who's hacked his way in and is altering your communication. So you think you have a direct communication, but you're actually getting an altered communication. So this can be very bad if you're doing business. You say, someone says, "Should I do X?" and you say, "No, definitely don't do X." Somebody intercepts that message, turns it to "Yes, do X," and then sends it on its way. Then that could be very bad for your business. So the same thing is happening right now with the entertainment media. Actually, there's a whole case to be made of how it's going on with the media in general, and I think most people these days understand what I mean. A lot of people have very strange ideas of what reality is based on the fact that there's a man in the middle in the media who takes that information, adjusts it to varying degrees depending on what they want you to think, and then sends it along to you, and then you think that that's fact. Well, the same thing's happening in the entertainment industry, where for the longest time, because of the internet, there's been a lot of independently created fan sites. There are fan communities, there are fan websites, and a lot of these fan sites have gained momentum, gained popularity, and the people who run them kind of became the go-to people for Hollywood for information. So say, the fans write in to, their emails and their comments to a particular site and say, "We love this thing." We love, I don't know, I won't give an example because there's so many different things, but, we love Star Wars. We use Star Wars as an example. And the sites go like, great, we have this information on what the fans like. And Hollywood goes to them and say, "What do the fans like? They like this. They've been writing, oh, that's great. We'll do that." So then they go and make decisions on their filmmaking based on what they get from these sites. Well, what starts to happen is the people at the site start to realize that there's a power in this. Maybe they want something, but it's contrary to what the fans want. But it's not going directly to the fans. Oops, sorry. I left my notifications on, so forgive any binging or sounds that may come from my phone. The fans may come to them and go, "We want this." And the person at the media site or whatever goes, "I think I know better. I think I would rather see it be this." So Hollywood goes to them and goes, "Hey, what do the fans want?" And they say, "I'll tell them what I want. I'll say the fans want it. They have no way of checking. They come to me." So you get these people that are empowered to start influencing the studios. That's a lot of power for a little site. Suddenly this person who's like run their site from home and built it up and, gotten a good following is suddenly in position to dictate studio decisions simply by telling them what it is the fans want, whether it's true or not. Well, as a result, you start getting, all these weird decisions made by the studios that start to upset the fans. That suddenly you get Star Wars movies that the fans are going, "We hate this. This isn't what we want." And the studios go back to the person and go, like, "The fans are saying they're hating this." Well, what do? They react and go, "Oh no, those are toxic fans. Those are they're misogynists. They're even Nazis. Yeah, you don't want to listen to those people. That'll be they love to say a bad look. That'll be a bad look for you." Oh, okay, yeah. The studios start going, "We don't want to be associated with Nazis and misogynists," and okay, no, we won't listen to them. And the fans get louder, and they go and then the fans are angry because they're going, "What? We're not Nazis. We're not misogynists. We're just trying to tell you we want a certain level of quality, and you don't understand the values of the movies we like or what attracts us to them. We're not." And then, of course, there's doubling down. Suddenly, the people at the studios are putting out statements, "We hate Nazis," and what? We're not Nazis. Stop calling us Nazis. If you think that lowly of us, we're not going to spend our money with you. We'll go take our money someplace else. And so you've got people being misrepresented, you've got studios creating an inferior product, and no money is circulating. But meanwhile, these news sites, they're getting their clicks. They're happy with the power that they have. Well, what the Snyder Cut represented was a moment where the studios realized they could go. I'd say this, actually. The fans got around those news sites and went directly to the studios and said, we want this. We want to give you money to see this. Now, whether it's good or not, who knows? It's just a director's cut. If you don't want to see it, it's no skin off your nose to not see it. But what we're seeing is, the studios for a while have been flailing, trying to figure out how to revitalize some of these franchises. They thought they were going to have a DC universe, and it was going to be this thing just like the Marvel universe. That wasn't successful. So they started flailing around, trying different things. They tried the Joker movie. That worked really well. And the fans were excited about that, which enraged the news sites because suddenly, again, the fans were getting around them and directly to the studios, and it was successful. So they had to turn around and bash the Joker movie. Like, oh no, this is what the Nazis want. Don't satisfy them. But by this point, the studios have stopped listening. So, and they've started to realize that calling your fans, the people who pay you, Nazis, insulting them, telling them they're terrible people, when there's no factual basis for that whatsoever. These are good people. These are run-of-the-mill, they'd be nice to you on the street. They don't care what color your skin is or what your religion is. They just want to see good entertainment. So I hope that the Snyder Cut's successful, and I hope that the Event Horizon cut, if that comes out, I really hope that's successful too, because that will mark something that the studios and video on demand really sorely need to start to realize. Your fans are not bad people. They're not your enemies. They're good people who want to pay you to entertain them. And if that brings Hollywood back and makes me wrong, I'll be as happy as can be. I still think what I said before about video on demand really taking hold of the medium and evolving it in a way that even if Hollywood does make a full recovery, they're going to have to change and evolve and contend with. The whole idea of the medium evolving because of, I won't even say it's a new medium. Video on demand is a new medium because it's very similar to television and movies. Let's not mistake it. It's an amalgam of the two, but it's becoming its own thing. And the medium of filmmaking is going to evolve to fit that, and that's going to be the new generation of entertainment. Movie theaters in Hollywood are going to have to adjust to that. And there's an article that people keep sending me. It's a good article. It's about, the new Hollywood, or how Hollywood's going to recover. And essentially it's taking what I'm saying is happening and just calling it the new Hollywood. But it is not. It is its own thing. Hollywood, when I say Hollywood, I talk about the centralization of entertainment power. Hollywood does not have that power anymore. They have been dispersed, and they will still exist, but not as Hollywood that we've always known it. There's a new generation that isn't attached to Hollywood, isn't in love with the old school red carpet idea of Hollywood. They want their entertainment on their phones. And I'm going to continue to talk about that as I learn more. So, like I said, the Snyder Cut, listen to the fans. If you're an independent film producer, listen to the fans. I mean, it's great to be in tune with these news sites. I'm not saying they're all just lying to you, and they are a great space to look at comments and get news from, but engage your fans. Listen to what they want. And that's not saying, if you're a filmmaker or, a content producer, I've got to get out of the habit of saying filmmaker. If you're a content producer and you want to produce a certain kind of content, that's not to say, no, look at what the fans want and produce whatever they say. No, you are still an artist. It's just when you find your fan base, and you deliver something to them and they respond positively, listen to what it is that they like about it. Listen to what it is that they're responding about, and make sure that you don't pull that rug out from under them. And that's a big mistake Hollywood's been making, especially with these. Now, this is something I don't get. Like, I loved Alien and Aliens. And when Alien 3 came out, it pulled the rug out from underneath me in terms of what it was I loved about the franchise. And they kind of laughed about it. Like, it was fun for them to step on that and say, like, no, this is better. What you liked was stupid. Like, you know, Aliens, what is James Cameron thinking? No, this is true Alien, this. And it's like, no, I did like Aliens. And then they started doing it again and again. They did it to the Star Wars franchise. They did it to the Star Trek franchise. They kept retconning everything that attracted the fandom in the first place. And they've done it even more with the Aliens franchise with those prequels. And the Terminator franchise, they started doing like the Halloween thing. They kind of kept doing a sequel and going, oh, just kidding, that wasn't how the story progresses. No, we're changing it. This, you know, like, oh, Terminator 2, did you like John Connor? Spoiler alert, he's dead. And we're going to show you him getting shot in great detail, painful, excruciating detail. And then we're going to replace it with something else that has nothing to do with what you liked before, but it has the Terminator name on it. Now, in my mind, I'm going, why are you purchasing this name, this tentpole name that has a fan following, and then replacing everything about it that made it attractive to the fans to begin with, and pouring millions and millions of dollars after millions and millions of dollars into it, trying to make it work as it continues to lose you money? So, yeah, that's not listening to the fans. So, yeah, the takeaway is that fan engagement. Listen to the fans. Create the content, you know, find your audience and create the content for them that they crave, and don't insult them. They are your bread and butter. They are what allow you to keep creating art and content for them. And don't let anybody else tell you what they're thinking. Go to them directly and do everything you can to understand it. Because that's the other thing as well. Studios don't understand fans because they're not speaking the language of the fans. You know, studio execs are not looking at memes and understanding them. They're not understanding the jokes. They're not understanding the fair use content that they put into their YouTube videos. They really need to make it more friendly for the fans all around, to engage them in any way possible, and to always be happy that the fans are excited about their stuff, not pull the rug out from under them, and not treat them like an enemy. So that's it. I'm getting redundant now. I was going to do a video today. Actually, this is a completely different video than I intended. I was originally going to do a writing video about how to use exposition to pull your audience in instead of just an information dump. But there was a situation with a Twinkie.
What about the Twinkie?
We'll get to that. I had a prop. It was a Twinkie. Never leave Twinkies in the cupboard when you have kids in the house. Your props will be eaten. Okay, so that's it for today. As usual, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. That's very important. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon. I also have PayPal if you want to support this channel, or you can support it by clicking any of the affiliate links in any of the descriptions of any of my videos. I usually keep them relevant to what I'm talking about. In this case, I'm going to leave links to books that I find useful for the business of filmmaking and just business in general, even if the book doesn't specifically have to do with filmmaking. Really loving Getting Real and The 4-Hour Work Week, as well as Roger Corman's books, Robert Rodriguez. I think there's a Lloyd Kaufman book in there as well. I'm not sure. I'm very interested in the business of making movies, obviously. I make content to make money, but I also love doing it. But there's got to be a balance. So I hope you find those books useful. Also, be sure to share this video. Even if you disagree with it, share it and go like, look at this guy. I don't believe this guy. Like, what is he talking about? He doesn't know what he's talking about. I get that a lot. You don't know what you're talking about. Why not? Well, you don't. I turned off your video as soon as I heard like, okay, well, I have information to back that up. You just, is there anything I said that was wrong? No, that's fun stuff too. So share the video so we can get this conversation going, because if I'm wrong, I don't care. It's not about me being wrong or right. I want the information so that we can make money making content. And I believe we all can. That money's out there. Those fans are out there. So let's do that. Again, thanks for watching. Click some of these other videos so you can see what I'm talking about there too. So plenty of interviews, tutorials, and analysis.